You have never seen a family like this.
My family's been known to have a few skeletons in our closet, and it's very important to me that they stay there.
These people don't find out that my hell-raising daughter is in their house.
The rich are getting richer, and the poor are getting even.
You think I'm the devil? You have no idea the hell that can rain down.
Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots, May 28th, 9/8 Central.
Only on OWN.
All right, haves and have-not fans, today is a special day. Today is the 10th anniversary of the initial premiere, aka the first episode of the Haves and the Have-Nots when it aired on the OWN network so many years ago in 2013. Man. Well, also the first two episodes, the big surprise and playing in the deep end. I've told this story countless times on the channel. I'll say it one more time. I remember the promos leading up to the initial premiere of the show, because at the time the OWN network was offered in like a free package. It was like a preview channel at the time on Dish Network here at the house. And what, May, that was 2013, and 2014. Yeah, this was the summer before my last year of grad school in college. And man, looking back, man, time flies by. So my mom, I remember that night, my mom was like, "Hey Jeremy, that new Tyler Perry show's on." So I ran up to the living room, and a few minutes into it, we were both hooked. And by the time episode 2 came to a close, my mom got on the phone, added the OWN network to her cable package, and the rest is history. I mean, you all know the drill. That began, without me knowing it at the time, that was the beginning of me making a career path before I even had a job. Because I had one more year of college, then I was back home the summer of 2014, and after a couple months got that call center job, and then eventually an apartment, and that's when I was blogging about the show. And a few years later, boom, YouTube, which is just crazy to me, because now I'm like, wow, I wonder how life would have been if I would have started YouTube right off the rip, like as soon as the show first started coming on. Man, how things might have been different. But regardless, you all know the show's changed my life. It's why I'm here doing what I'm doing today instead of sitting in a cubicle or something like that. But regardless, yeah, I mean, the show spawned almost 200 episodes, 196 total. According to stats, it averaged about 3 million. Wow, actually, yeah, about 3 million total viewers across its lifespan from 2013 to 2021. Now, I still am behind when it comes to getting those early episode recaps, but the more I've been doing videos on the other Tyler Perry shows, the more people like, what was it? I think it was my Brug review yesterday. People were like, we want the haves and the have-nots, and if loving you is wrong back. And I guess here's something that I don't want to give a definitive date to, because I was thinking about doing it. There are some YouTube channels I watch that are fun in regards to like, video game stuff or anime stuff. And some of these channels have been doing reviews on older shows, like, hey, let's go back to the beginning and review the first season of this anime or whatever. And people like that, because especially if a show's been on or off the air for so long, going back to the first season without nostalgia glasses, you catch a lot of things you didn't catch the first time. And something I was going to test run with was the original House of Pain. Like, I'm talking about the first handful of episodes on the WB, like when CJ was Curtis and Ella's son instead of nephew. And, to see how that would go in views, because I was thinking, wow, I'd love to do that for maybe even Love Thy Neighbor, just to throw it back to the older days of OWN to see what people would think. But that's a testament to the haves and the have-nots legacy, and maybe that's going to be a video I'll talk about more in July, when we get to the 1-year anniversary of the series ending July 20th, 2022, being 1 year since the show actually came to an end. And like I've said in a lot of other videos, the haves and the have-nots is best remembered for the first couple seasons. Again, kind of like CW's to Flash, people speak rather fondly of those first couple seasons of the show before it kind of went downhill. But with the haves and the have-nots, it really was that Tyler Perry show where you had to pay attention to everything, because it just felt like Tyler crafted every line of dialogue, every actor's, certain body language in response to something as a way to kind of clue people into what's being set up. Even if you didn't catch it at that given episode, you would, oh wow, 2 seasons ago that followed up on why David looked at Jim a certain way. It's just one of those things where it felt really good. But when you think about it, the haves, and maybe I should save this more for the legacy of the show kind of thing, that video in a couple months. But yeah, the longer the show went on, the more of the tropes of current Tyler Perry shows we see. Like, for example, stories that drag on, characters that don't evolve or change whatsoever. Even if they do change, it's only temporary due to the fact that they're regressing to how they were before. And I hate to say this, but to the point where certain characters overstay their welcome just for the sake of having a job. And I can name a number of characters, but I'm pretty sure you all can point out which ones I'm talking about. But overall, the haves and the have-nots set the bar to a frightening level that, in my opinion, like I said, didn't I make that meme or something a few weeks ago? What's that meme? It's like the change in my mind where the guy's like sitting at a table with a sign, and I said something along the lines of, none of Tyler Perry's BET shows can touch or on the same level as the haves and the have-nots season 1 and 2, or basically season 1. Like, if you took any season and I'm talking Sisters, Bruh, Oval, Ruthless, Assisted Living, House of Pain reboot, take any season of those shows and put them episode to episode, blow for blow, against, let's say, well, season 1 of the haves and have-nots is 36 episodes, season 2 is 25, so essentially about 61 episodes. Yeah, or hell, you can even say, take any show, like, hey, here's Sisters, I want to put all the seasons of Sisters against the first 1 or 2 seasons of the haves and the have-nots. I don't think it compares. I mean, but the thing about it is, the only show on the Viacom network that's kind of in the same lane or genre of have and have-nots is arguably the Oval. But even still, no way in hell is competing with those first couple seasons of the haves and the have-nots. I don't care what you tell me. It's just, this isn't me picking favorites. This is me, being factual. As someone who has thoroughly reviewed every episode of each one of these shows, I feel like my opinions have some validation behind them, because I've literally picked it all apart. And I don't think Tyler Perry's writing is at that same level as the early days of the haves and the have-nots. But on a more happier note, let's just think about all the different career paths and, real life events that have happened in the lives of various cast members. Of course, Candace Tinka got married recently to Nick, aka Justin, from the show. Erica and Mitch have been married for a couple years now in real life. During the show, I think, was it Renee or Angela who said this during the final cast reunion, that yeah, we've become family over the years, going to different events, weddings, funerals, house purchases, having kids, that kind of stuff. And a lot of things have shifted. It's just amazing. And of course, despite the haves and the have-nots being a hit, I feel like Tyler Lepley is better known for P-Valley than on the haves and the have-nots in some respects, due to the fact that P-Valley has blown up. Tika has become, of course, part of the Sonic franchise, which is, I believe, the biggest or highest grossing video game movie franchise of all time, which is amazing in itself. Gavin was on a couple of the CW shows, if I'm not mistaken, like the New Mexico Roswell, New Mexico show, which unfortunately got canceled. Aaron O'Connell, I believe, is still doing movies here and there. I've seen him in a couple of Hallmarks, and there was another movie he was promoting recently. Angela Robinson, she went back to stage. Lady Sings the Blues. Peter Parros, he was in a BET Plus movie, I believe, a Christmas one. Sheesh, and the list goes on. I mean, wow. Obviously there are secondary characters who have had a lot of success as well, but it's just crazy. It's just amazing. And okay, I would watch the reunion special again because I actually have it on my computer, but I still am pissed off about not getting invited. But if I put that aside and just watch it, yeah, it really is emotional to look back and think about how, wow, all those years together, and they're definitely family, and the fact that their lives have changed so much is incredible. But yeah, so as always, just thank you, Tyler Perry, for creating the show. Thank you, Oprah, for giving Tyler the platform at the time to team up with you and, you know, allow his scripted shows to come on the OWN network and knock it out of the ballpark. You know, OWN is definitely looking a lot different now than how it did in 2013. You know, with Tyler gone and Oprah sharing like a major share of ownership to Discovery. And no telling what the future of the OWN network is going to be. But regardless, you look at Viacom now and Tyler is producing things like never before. But quantity over quality, I don't know if he'll ever have another haves and have-nots again. The only way I could see it possible is if, you know, once he's reduced the number of shows he himself is doing solo with the writing, producing, and whatnot. Once he slows down and focuses his energy on like one or two things, I feel like he could probably crack open another series on the same level of the haves and have-nots. But I don't think any show will compete when the show first came out, because the way my mom and I looked at the show and the way we talked about it week to week, and you know, our initial reaction was, I didn't know Tyler Perry had it in him, because it was so unlike anything we had seen from him up until that point in his career. So I felt the same way when I watched the first portion of like Ruthless season 1 until it got way too, okay, this is getting, I don't know if it's fantasy that you're living through the writing, or if this is indeed, holy shit, this is twisted. But regardless, yeah, the haves and the have-nots is that pinnacle. I know House of HAHN is like legendary for being and look, correct me if I'm wrong, like the longest running black television sitcom in history, or in television history or something. But the haves and the have-nots was just a beast in itself. So with that being said, happy 10th anniversary. And let me know some of your favorite moments in the comment section below. Hopefully I will do the rewatch soon, eventually. And let me know how you think of my idea of the whole House of HAHN thing. Like if I watch the first, you know, handful episodes from WB, maybe I'll watch a couple of Love Thy Neighbor episodes. And yeah, Kingdom Business is coming. I'm going to binge it this weekend. Don't worry. Like I said, I'm going to have all my videos for that done before Sisters comes on Wednesday night. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next video, guys.